Echo has finally been released on the PTR, and she might be the most skill-intensive hero that I have ever seen. She has an incredible kit, amazing mobility, and an ultimate that actually duplicates enemy heroes. This cybernetic DPS is unlike anything we have ever seen, and in this guide, I'm going to be breaking down every single part of her kit, what she's strong against, what she's weak against, positive, negatives, and everything you need to know to master Echo as quickly as possible. With all that being said, let's just jump right into it, shall we? So right off the bat, let's first break down Echo's kit, talk about what each ability means for her character overall, and then we're going to get down into positives and negatives and all the other things that you need to know to master Echo. So the first thing that you need to know about Echo is that she can fly. Her flight ability is insanely powerful. It allows her to surge upwards and fly with a 6-second cooldown. Almost think of it like a lunge that also gives her updraft as well. Now, similar to Mercy, she has a passive called Glide that lets her fly further, kind of drift down, and pretty much fly to wherever she wants to go. She does fly a lot slower than a Mercy, so she can get punished, but because of her actual flight ability, she actually can get a burst of speed that allows her to burst behind natural cover or burst in aggressively. It gives her a lot of versatility as far as how to use her abilities. She doesn't necessarily need another ally like Mercy does. It makes her much more self-sufficient. Now, her mobility is great, but let's talk about her damage. The first thing is her tri-shot. It's her primary weapon. And the thing about tri-shot is it has 15 rounds that does 3 shots in a triangle pattern. It's an extremely fast-moving projectile. It does 17 damage per shot or 51 damage per blast without the crit. If you crit, it does 34 damage per headshot from each of the little blasts, and it does 102 damage if you hit them all in the head. Now, this seems like a lot of damage, but keep in mind that this is extremely difficult to hit. The best players in the world might be able to have a pretty decent time hitting them, but for the vast majority of us, it's going to be extremely difficult to hit these consistently, and I'm telling you, they're very hard. Go try them yourself. Now, moving on to the next ability we want to talk about is Sticky Bombs. That's the alternate fire, and Sticky Bombs, it does a volley of 6. It's a slow-moving projectile. They stick to surfaces they impact, and if they impact a character, it does 5 damage per impact, and it does 30 damage per explosion. They will explode a little bit after they actually stick to the target. So, if you hit someone with each and every one of them, which is going to be very difficult, by the way, and they each explode, it will do 210 damage, and it will lethal most squishies. It has a 6-second cooldown. Now, this might seem extremely powerful, but like I said, Sticky Bombs is a slow-moving projectile, and it's not going to be very consistent to hit unless you're really close to someone that's really not moving. Now, this actually gives people a lot of impact in a 1v1 matchup, because if someone's chasing you, you can actually zone them away with an ability like this. You can throw it in chokes. You can throw it from long distance. When you're flying up in the air, you can throw it at tanks, choke points, things like that. You can get explosive damage, build up your ultimate. It is a very consistent way to get damage, to build up that ultimate, which everyone wants to because it's really powerful, and I'm going to get to that in a second. So the next ability on the list is actually Focus Beam, and I think this is actually her most powerful ability besides her ultimate, and it's an insane kill confirmer. So let me explain. So it's a laser beam that lasts a few seconds, right? It's a tracking beam. So unlike the first 2 abilities, those were both projectiles. One was a fast-moving projectile and one was a slow-moving. This is a actual tracking weapon. So you're going to need different types of ammo. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. But it does only 50 damage to a target, enemy, or barrier if they're above 50% health. So it doesn't really do that much. But if the enemy or barrier is below 50% health, at or below, it does 200 total DPS. Think about this for a second. The potential for this to completely destroy squishies is immense. If you get a target to under 50% of their HP, this will absolutely shred them. An incredibly powerful ability. This is your kill confirmer. What you want to be doing a lot against 1v1 matchups, or when you're trying to fight squishies, you want to poke them down with the tri-shot, get a little damage in with your Sticky Bombs, and finish them off with your Focus Beam. It is incredibly consistent because it's a tracking weapon. It's something that happens instantly. It's not a projectile with a percentage of hitting, and it does so much freaking damage. This is an incredible ability, and I haven't even gotten to the good part yet. The good part of her kit is her ultimate Duplicate. Now, everyone buckle in. I'm sure you've already heard of it or seen the clips, but this is the crazy thing about Echo right now. Echo's ultimate is an animation cancel. It will animation cancel whatever you're doing, and it has a pretty far range. You turn into an enemy hero. If an enemy is Genji, you activate your ultimate, you will turn into Genji. If an enemy is Rein and you activate it, you will turn into Rein. You literally turn into the enemy hero, and you'll be like, whoa, that's crazy. But it doesn't stop there. You get your ult charge at 650% faster rate. That's right, incredible. We ran the numbers on it, and you can actually get a pulse bomb 7 times in the time frame Duplicate lasts. By the way, it only lasts 15 seconds, so it's not completely busted, but think about it this way. If you're completely nuts at a character, if you're nuts at Genji, and you get your ultimate charge at 650 times the rate, imagine shurikening one person, dashing through 3 people, and getting your Dragon Blade, and Dragon Blading the enemy team because you turned into their Genji. Yeah, incredible potential here, guys, and it adds for so many insane plays. I mean, you can copy a support, you could copy a Mercy and res your allies, and then get your ultimate and fly around and damage boost your team. You could copy an Orisa and shield your team, and then you have multiple shields, or maybe you're pushing when you didn't even have a shield in the first place. The potential of this character is insane. Copy a Widow and headshot the other enemy Widow. There's just so much you could possibly do with this hero, and we really need to break down how incredible it is. I know you guys got some extra time on your hands and hopefully plenty of toilet paper. Let's use this time to get you closer and closer to Grandmaster. The Game Leap website is 50% off, and the link is down below. We're pushing out loads of content every single day to keep your skills engaged and your SR always increasing. Go ahead, click the link, and access your true potential. So let's talk about the positives for this hero, her kit, and all that. 1, she has insane mobility. She's literally insane at flying around. She can put in damage. She has the potential to duel enemies. And then her ultimate can bring so much value to the table potentially. You could copy a Zarya, grab the enemy. You could copy a Rhine, shatter the enemy. There's all these different things. And another part of her ultimate that's really important is that if you die while you're someone else, let's say you turn into Rhine and you die, you turn back into Echo at full health. You do not just die for good. You just turn back into Echo. So you can play almost without risk. You just turn into someone and you just go balls to the wall. You just run in, swing in, or you're shooting in or whatever. And if you die, you turn back into Echo. You can fly right way. And I cannot overstate the positives of Echo, but the big consensus that I keep hearing is that Echo's this insanely overpowered hero, and she might be. Jeff talked about how he can tweak a lot of these numbers, but here's the thing that everyone should understand about Echo. So the first thing about her ultimate, you could instantly die when you ult. You could turn into a McCree and someone could kill you. You turn back into Echo, sure, but you didn't get any value out of your ultimate. And sometimes you turn into a DPS character like a Widow and maybe you don't hit shots. At the end of the day, you're just another character. Now, I'm not saying that you don't have potential to pop off. That's definitely true, but it's gonna take skill. And that's the thing that is really important about Echo's kit overall. She has good mobility. She has all these insane abilities, but they're all extremely difficult to play. When you get your hands on Echo, you're gonna really understand what I mean. The thing is, it's incredibly hard to get value out of your primary tri-shot. It's incredibly hard to track perfectly with your focus beam. It's incredibly hard to master the flight and the movement. And learning how to ult and take someone's character is fine, but the thing is, you have to also be able to play that character. If you never played it before, you're not gonna be good at it. So every single character in the whole game is a character that you have to understand completely. You have to know what their ultimate does. You have to know how to use it. If you've never played Genji in your life, if you're just a McCree player, you take it and turn it into a Genji, then you have to be able to also blade. You have to be able to understand how to execute with the blade. And you might be thinking, oh, well, I never am gonna play Genji. I don't need to know how to blade. But in this character, if you play Echo, you need to know how to use every single character's ult, and you need to know how to play every single character in an efficient way. If you turn into someone like a Hanzo, but you've never played Hanzo before and you just miss every shot, you're just gonna die and get no value with your ultimate. That takes a long time to charge because all of these abilities are hard to hit unless you're really mechanically honed. If you turn into Widow and you can't hit a headshot, then you just really just wasted that ult. Now, there's gonna be some characters that are gonna be better to turn into, and I'm gonna talk about that in a second, but the point of the matter is, don't freak out. I know a lot of people are gonna really freak out about this character. I'm sure that there's gonna be some changes to her, but more than that, this character is an extremely high skill cap character. At the lower ranks, she might be good, but there's almost no way that she's gonna be oppressive. There's almost no way that she's just gonna be in every single game, picking you off in the back line and farming you if you're a support or a DPS. Don't worry too much about it, okay? I'm gonna talk about more of that later, but please don't freak out. So let's talk about some of the things about Echo, and this kind of goes back to what I was talking about. If you're a flex god, this is your character. This is literally flex god character. It has mobility. It has projectile aim, it has tracking aim, and you get to turn into every single character in the game. And like I talked about before, the people that know how to play every tank, every support, who are peaks at tank, support, DPS. I know I've told y'all time and time again that specialization is the key. This is the one exception. This is the one character that rewards you for not specializing, because you need to know just how to win the Rhine Shatter War. You need to know just how to Dragon Blade, even if you don't really play Genji that much, or how to Tracer Blink 180, hit pulse bombs, or how to hit shots on Hanzo, or how to hit shots on McCree. because with Echo, you could potentially do all that in the same game. And throughout the course of 10 games, you could potentially play tons of characters, maybe 20 different characters across tank, DPS, and support. It is literally the flex god's dream. And on top of that, she might have, actually, I'm going to say it right here, Echo has the highest potential skill ceiling. She really pushes you to the edge. I mean, you can take a monkey and all of a sudden you're a monkey and then you get your ultimate and then you're primal raging and you're a DPS player. How many times have you practiced primal rage mechanics? But now all of a sudden you're like, hey, monkey's meta. Maybe I should go practice primal rage mechanics so that when I yoink the enemy's Winston and I get primal rage, I'm better at primal rage. I mean, there's just so many different things that you can learn on Echo that makes you better at Echo and better with her ultimate. It's just infinite. And if you are a god Echo player, more than likely you're just god at Overwatch. That's just plain and simple. And then on top of that, the high skill ceiling, mobility, hard to hit abilities. They're really hard. Mix of projectile and tracking, intricate possible plays from every hero in the game. There's just so many different things. Now transitioning on, I'm going to talk about some of the really cool things that are possible to get you excited about this character. I kind of brought it down a little bit so no one's freaking out, but let me talk about what is the possible peaks with this character. Imagine someone like Defran takes a Tracer. Now, something important is when you take someone's character, you get all your abilities right online. You get everything. And you get your ultimate at 650%, like I said before. That means if you one clip anybody, you're going to get your pulse bomb. So you one clip someone because you're Defran and you don't miss a shot. You get your pulse bomb. You go pulse bomb a tank. Then you finish that tank off and then you shoot another tank and you get your pulse bomb again and you pulse bomb someone else and you just keep going, you keep going, you keep going. And if you die, you turn into Echo. That's the potential. Now, the thing is, you have to be good at Echo and you have to be good at Tracer. You just have to be really good mechanically and learn all these characters in order to make the full use out of Echo, or else you're not going to be able to get that same level of value. Now let's talk about, in general, what are the best things to copy. The ultimates get all the flashy things because 650% ult charge is definitely really valuable, definitely really powerful. But in my opinion, the number one thing that you want to copy is characters that get an immediate return. They get an immediate return on the investment you put in to win the team fight. Let me give you this example. In my opinion, one of the best and most consistent things that you could copy is an enemy Baptiste. The reason why? You can instantly throw down their immortality field because you get it right away. Very powerful ability, can keep you and your team alive right off the bat. It's like, boom, you already get value. And then on top of that, with 650%, Amplification Matrix already builds up extremely fast. You could heal up one tank and get your ultimate and then just ult the enemy team. Very powerful, immediate return on your investment. And there's even the potential to get even more ultimates after that. And you're probably just going to win the fight outright. Now, I'm not saying that that's the only way. There's also characters that have really powerful ultimates, like I said before. Someone like Sombra, stealing their EMP, very, very powerful. Someone like Zarya, you get a Graviton, but keep in mind, it's going to be a while for you to build up that energy. You could still build up your ultimate, but you're not going to be able to pop off in the same way. Her bubbles are going to give you immediate value, but the slow, sustained build of power that Zarya normally has, this character doesn't really bring to the table because you don't have the time to do that kind of stuff. Characters that get immediate value, taking a hog and hooking someone, immediate value. Things that bring immediate value to the table. Taking someone's Ana and instantly nading the enemy team. Instant value. Those are the things that are going to be more reliable, but there's so much potential with this character. The thing is, there's going to be so many different scenarios where you can just take a character that is perfect for a scenario and then just use it. You know, there's a Widow on the high ground and you just take the enemy's Genji and you dive their Widow. Like something that you could never do otherwise. I mean, you don't want to fly at her because we're going to talk about it right now. We're rotating on to the bad matchups, and the bad matchups for this character is hit scan. She is a flying character. She wants to fly, and her hitbox is not really the smallest. Her wings actually encompass part of her hitbox, and body shots are going to be pretty easy to hit on her. Widowmakers, McCree's, Soldier 76s, these are going to be her bad matchups. They're going to be a little bit problematic. Luckily for you, you have definitely counterplay. Any character that has this level of mobility and burst definitely can have counterplay, but they are definitely your bad matchups. And as players get better at hit scan, you're also going to be under more of a threat. Let's talk about good matchups. The good matchups are things that can't interact with vertical mobility. Junkrat, Mei, Doomfist, they can't do anything to you. You can farm them from range, you could spam them down, and they can't really do anything to you, and it's almost a liability for the enemy to play these characters. Let me give you an example. Junkrat, Doomfist, Mei, think about these ultimates. Riptire can win a fight all by itself. Blizzard is extremely powerful, and Doomfist ultimate paired with this at a 650% return, you can actually just combo the hell off with Doomfist with Echo. There's just so much potential, and these characters can't do anything to stop you as Echo. So the enemy picking these characters actually give you a potential to yoink them, and you potentially having multiple towers in one fight is just, it's gonna be really, really bad for the enemy team. Now, before we bring this guy to the close, I need to talk about one thing in general about what you should probably play with a Echo. So there is definitely some room that we do not know yet. We do not know how good she's going to be just by herself or how good she's going to be in the abstract. But in general, she's definitely going to need to have characters that could heal her. Characters like Mora and Lucio aren't going to be as good with her as something like Mercy. Ana can definitely enable her, but you have to be pretty good at Ana in order to be able to hit those shots on her. I think Mercy is the most intrinsically powerful combo with her. Play her like you would play a Pharah and just enable and pocket this character. And that might mean that she is actually best in something like a dive. We don't quite know the full range of what this character is going to be played in, but one thing I know for sure is that she pairs extremely well with characters that have vertical heals and that can provide those type of resources to her, because she doesn't have any way to self-heal, no self-sustain, no shields or anything like that. So she definitely needs a constant source of heals, whether it's Zen, whether it's Ana, whether it's Mercy. Even Brig is fine if she gets consistent armor packs, but you get the point here. She definitely needs that sort of resources. Now, all in all, the number one thing that I would suggest you do if you want to master Echo, you definitely need to just start playing her. Go to the PTR, play her as much as possible, and if you're a flex god, this is probably a character that you might want to pick up. She's going to be extremely fun, the potentials are going to be huge, and I think she is going to be probably one of the most fun, rewarding, and high skill capped characters in the entire game. Anyways, I know that I've rambled on, but I've only talked surface level about this hero, but going forward, the Game Leap website is 50% off, and the link is down below. We're pushing out loads of content every single day to keep your skills engaged and your SR always increasing. Go ahead, click the link, and access your true potential. Anyways, that's all I have for you today. Any questions or comments, definitely let me know down below. I want to hear your thoughts about Echo. Do you think she's busted? Do you think she's not as good as people think? Are you gonna main her, or are you really pissed off that this is not a tank or a support character? Anyways, that's all I have for you today. I'm Coach Mills, and until next time,